Yeah, and speaking of apples to apples, you got to make sure that the substrate is the same. We use grade 50 steel. Sometimes you might get material that's grade 30 from someone else that might end up being cheaper. Tell me a little bit about that.
It could be the steel, it could be the paint systems.
Yeah.
It could be even the minimum tolerances of a 24 gauge steel. So there's a lot that goes into it that might not be an apples for apples comparison.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing channel. I'm Thad Barnette. There's a lot of metal suppliers that you can buy sheet and coil from, and sometimes the reality is Sheffield Metals doesn't come at the lowest price all the time. And today we're gonna talk about what factors go into pricing and why you should consider other things in addition to price when you're choosing your supplier. And today, to help me out, I've got Brad from the Sheffield Metals sales team. Thanks for being here, Brad.
Thanks, Thad. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about a couple different things here today. First, let's talk about factors that go into pricing of metal sheet and coil that sometimes allow a competitor to sell at a lower price than Sheffield for a particular project.
There's a lot of factors that just go into pricing on coil. Some of it just starts with the supply chain, right? You have 24 gauge, 26 gauge, 29 gauge coil. You have all sorts of different paint systems. Sheffield Metals tries to stay in a very specific lane. We do a lot of coil and sheet for the architectural metals industry and the 24 gauge PVDF, Kynar type stuff. So we stay away from a lot of the 29 gauge, the lighter gauge, the S&P type stuff. And a lot of that just as you buy, right? As you buy a whole lot of volume, you may get a little bit better pricing.
Because Sheffield, focuses on a specific lane with that 24 gauge PVDF standing seam market, how does that, affect pricing for us overall?
Yeah, so it's just, we may not buy as much substrate, we may not buy as much paint, and that can affect just maybe the buying power that we have in various things. We have a very specific lane that we want to stay in, and we try to do a very good job of staying in that lane.
Yeah, and we're a national company, selling to many different regions. How does regionality affect pricing?
Yeah, 100%. So geography is a lot, right? It can be geography from our suppliers to our locations, what it takes to get there, what it takes to process it down, and then geography from our locations to the customer. So that can have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and going back to the supply chain discussion, when you buy metal makes a big difference as well, because we hear in the news all the time about market fluctuations. And when pricing goes up, if we purchased metal months ago when there was lower price, that can affect pricing now.
When you buy, how you buy, where you buy, a lot goes into that. We have a supply chain team that's dedicated to that exact thing, and all day, every day, they're eating, sleeping, drinking, how to buy right and how to be smart in our purchases. And not just on the substrate side, on the paint side, on the coating side, how we do it, and how the ultimate product ends up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things that you should consider when you're choosing a supplier aside from price. So what are some dangers with going with the cheapest option every single time?
Sure, there's definite pitfalls with that. The cheapest option, first and foremost, you probably want to be making sure you're doing an apples for apples comparison, right? We talk about that a lot when you're looking at quotes. Are all setup fees included? Are all slit fees included? How about the PVC film? Is that included? Sheffield Metals, we do take pride in cutting very specific orders to length, to width, what exactly you want. Maybe the competitor only allows for certain lengths of coils, so you only need 1,000 foot, but you're going to get 1,200 foot because that's what they have. So the cheapest option might not always be the best option.
Yeah, and speaking of apples to apples, you got to make sure that the substrate is the same. We use grade 50 steel. Sometimes you might get material that's grade 30 from someone else that might end up being cheaper. Tell me a little bit about that.
It could be the steel, it could be the paint systems.
Yeah.
It could be even the minimum tolerances of a 24 gauge steel. So there's a lot that goes into it that might not be an apples for apples comparison.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me more about the supplier partnership and what the benefits of having a long-term, partnership relationship with a supplier can get you.
Yeah, for sure on that, Thad. If you're always going to jump from cheapest to cheapest to cheapest, you're probably never going to get established with a vendor who knows your business, knows your needs, knows how you like to receive your material. You're just always going to get price. Where conversely, if you have a vendor who you're on the phone with all day, every day, you know the sales teams, you know the way we do things, your service is going to reflect that.
Yeah, tell me more about the customer service aspect and the long-term value that a customer would get from Sheffield Metals, with that kind of daily discussions.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, price is probably a factor of that, right? If someone comes to us and we've never heard of them, it's their first order for us, they're probably not going to get the same price that a long-time repeat customer gets.
Definitely.
So price is a factor in that. There's just huge value in the sales team knowing your business, knowing what you do all day, every day, knowing what projects you might have coming up, knowing how to help you plan, prepare, how to bundle orders up, how to get the best freight rates, just all of the things that would come with an established relationship where we're talking to you on a daily basis.
Yeah, and not to mention, roll forming sales and support, accessory support and offering accessories to purchase and bundle with your orders as well. There's a whole gamut of things, free takeoffs, there's a whole gamut of things that go in with that long-term type supplier like Sheffield Metals kind of gets you.
Absolutely. It's really becomes an invaluable relationship. The customers that we have long-term relationships with, close relationships with, are the customers that we see their businesses thriving.
Yeah. Another huge value add for someone like Sheffield Metals is we're not just selling sheet and coil and then washing our hands of that sale. There's that continuous support and service that goes along with it. Tell me about the warranties, engineering support, and how important that is to Sheffield and our customers.
Yeah, this is a huge value prop that we bring to our customers, right? It kind of also goes into that original question of pricing. Why sometimes might we be a little more than a competitor? It's because we bring a lot of engineering to the table. We bring a lot of warranty support to the table. We bring a lot of services that maybe our competitors do, maybe they don't. It really provides a huge value as the contractor. It shows that we're backing their business. It shows that we're invested in their business. And kind of really that's only as good as the company backing it. So our warranty support is a large thing. There's this metal roofing things happen. We don't like it too, but those warranties are only as good as the company's backing it. So whether it's your coil supplier, the paint supplier, the substrate supplier, we surround ourselves with some very good vendors and strong warranty support.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Brad. Well, thanks very much. This was super helpful info.
Hey, Thad, thank you.
Yep. If you've got any questions, comment down below or visit us at sheffieldmetals.com for help with your next standing seam project. Subscribe here to the Metal Roofing channel. As always, I'm Thad Barnette. We'll catch you next time.